Nice one, yeah. So, just going to chat about why do people fail to achieve the goals. So, I think this is a good time of the year to talk about. It's kind of like mad rush in January. A lot of people getting into health and fitness, training, going to the gym, good nutrition. And I think like towards the end of January, it comes to the point where a lot of people tail off a little bit. They kind of lose the way they're maybe not achieving the goals. So it's kind of looking at the main reasons why a lot of people fail to achieve the goals. So what would you say in your experience, Neil, would be the number one reason that people fail to achieve the goals?
It's probably a mixture of things. It's going to be a combination. So if a lot of people look at like a physique, they'll see a physique, say I want that physique, but they don't really understand the amount of work that goes in, they don't understand the amount of time that goes into it. It's like, to be fair, I had a time where I wanted to quit my job and I was looking for different jobs, and I thought, oh, computer programming, something like that. Like, I've got no idea about computers, but I thought if I learn that, I can make a lot of money off it, I can get this progression here, this progression there. So I started looking at it, and because I weren't really that into it, and I didn't realise how much was involved, it just tailed off because I didn't set myself. It's not something that I was going to ever achieve because I weren't willing to dedicate enough time to doing it. And it's the same thing with the gym. If people aren't willing to dedicate enough time to actually doing what they need to do to achieve, they aren't going to do it. And that ain't to say that you've got to do, you don't have to have massive goals, but you've got to have some goals, like you said about.
Definitely, yeah. There's quite a few. I've made a few notes about this. Just did a little bit of research online on YouTube, just kind of looking at reasons why people fail generally to achieve any goal, not necessarily health and fitness, but I kind of like relate a lot to, specifically with the gym as well. It kind of relates and lends to a lot of these goals as well. And I think for me as well is, I get a lot of people coming, new members joining the gym. We have to sit down with them, part of our hours at David Lloyd, we sit down and go through what the goals are, why they want to achieve the goals. And it's actually relatively rare that you get someone who sits down and actually gives really good reasons and detailed goals, an analysis of what they want to achieve, why they want to achieve it. I think for a lot of people, they just kind of go through the motions of, I just need to lose weight and turn up. And then you kind of like, you try and probe them, and it's like, I don't know, they don't really know the reasons why they want to achieve it.
Yeah.
And you tend to find the people that come in and they've got something really compelling, something that's really meaningful. Whether it's a wedding, a holiday or something like that, or something long term, if they've had a health problem and, they've been advised they need to, for longevity, they need to get in shape.
Yeah.
These things that are really compelling and meaningful, you find that these people tend to go on and achieve a lot more than someone that kind of comes in and they don't really know what they want to achieve. Would you kind of agree with that?
Yeah, definitely, because they've got something in mind. They've kind of got a set date for what they want to achieve, so they need to get doing it right then. But a lot of people who start the gym don't have something like that to work towards. So for those people, they still need goals. If they don't have any goals when they go into the gym, what I find is a lot of people who end up leaving the gym quite soon are the people who don't really know what to do. So they'll go on the same kind of machines every time because they can kind of get the hang of machines a lot easier than anything else. They don't really track anything, they'll do the same workout and it's boring. So they think, well, this isn't for me, the gym isn't for me, it's boring. But if they had a goal, say they had a goal to learn a new exercise or to lift X amount more weight on an exercise, so then every time you go in and you're doing a little bit better than last time, it's motivating in itself to think, right, I'm definitely progressing. So I'm working towards my goals, this is going well.
Yeah.
And you've got something to shoot for every time you go.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I couldn't train myself, I didn't have some goal in mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something to keep you going.
That's something as well that I mentioned, one of the points that I mentioned there, that I put down was about tracking, lack of planning and then also not measuring progress. It's a bit demoralising if you come in, you don't really know what weights you're lifting or you don't know what you're doing, your performance levels, you come in. You might be progressing, but it's like you don't really know unless you're tracking it or that you're aware of it that you're progressing.
Yeah, I think
that can be a bit demoralising. You don't feel like you get anywhere when in fact you are.
Agreed, totally agree.
But yeah, absolutely planning, having a plan, setting something out that's long term and short term, having a plan.
Yeah.
And then also having that balance with the process as well, isn't it? Having those process goals, which I've talked about before.
Yeah.
We were talking just before, weren't we, about you said people come in and they're like, they know what they want to achieve, they see someone that they want to look like, or they want to be performing like someone, but they don't appreciate what the actual process is and how hard that can be.
Yeah.
You said about that way.
Yeah, that's definitely a part of it. I think anyone who goes to the gym should just focus on performance. And that ain't to say that if you're looking to lose weight or to gain mass like a bodybuilder, that your goal should be like to train like a powerlifter or some other performance-based athlete. But if you focus on your performance, that's what's going to build the muscle. It's what's going to help lose the body fat. That's what's going to work. Because if you're working on performance, you're working on improving every time. What you've got to figure out is what's the best plan for you to improve on. So if you've got a good plan in place and you improve on it, you're going to get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
But if you've got a bad plan to start with, or you've got a lack of knowledge, like one of your points, lack of knowledge, and you aren't sure how to set a plan up in the first place, you've got nothing to progress on. So you need some knowledge, definitely, whether that's off a coach or whether you can get that off talking to people or online. There's a lot of information out there. Get the knowledge first, then just build on it.
Definitely. Also, another thing that I found through my own experience as well is how you deal with, you might have a perfect plan set out, but you might have a session where you come in and your performance level's down, you're not doing well. That can be demoralising, I found, to a lot of beginners and a lot of people that struggle, and then they end up, losing interest. But what I've found through my own experience is, for example, last night I went in and trained. I've had a good run of training actually. I've been progressing every week, I've been tracking it, I've been increasing my weights, increasing reps. Yesterday I just felt off, did an upper body pressing session, and lighter weights than normal. I was struggling and grinding reps out when I shouldn't have. So, and if I go back to when I first started, that would have demoralised me and I would have been frustrated with it and I would have kind of, reacted negatively. Now I'm just kind of relaxed, and I actually felt good that I had a session like that, because it was going to come a point, it's not just going to be a linear progression. I was about 7 weeks I was increasing my weights, and you just come to that point, you're not going to keep progressing. It's always going to be ups and downs, so it's how you react.
Yeah, but you've got to think, at your level, and you've managed to progress for 7 weeks on the trot, as a beginner you should progress for months without a bad session. If you have a bad session after 3 weeks, it's because you've set your training up wrong. Like, as a beginner you don't need to push to failure, because you're going to get just as much out of it as pushing and leaving a few reps in the tank. And if you build up slowly on them and practice your technique, it's going to be 3-4 months before you've even got to think about changing things, because you can just keep progressing. You've just got to make sure your plan is correct to start with, and that just keeps them going as well. So yeah, like you say, if that did happen, it definitely would be demoralising. So you've got to avoid that happening as well.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, it will, at some point it'll get to the point where you're not going to be progressing. So it's how you react to that as well. That's part of the process, isn't it?
Definitely. But I think when you get to that point, because you've got the habit of training, you might have been training 5 months and you're enjoying it, you're more likely to kind of, right, what do I do to get past it, rather than I've had enough of this. Because if you're only a couple of weeks into it, you haven't noticed any changes really, and it's not working out very well, you're more inclined to say, I'm just going to leave it.
It's kind of reflecting as well on, you might have a bad session early on, but it's looking at the reasons why. You might, when you chat to a client, you chat to someone about it, you start to uncover, I've not slept very much, or my nutrition's been off, or I'm super stressed and busy at work, and it's like, appreciate that the performance level isn't going to be there when these things are happening,
definitely going to have
and then trying to manage the lifestyle.
Yeah.
And training, like we were talking about last time, about trying to train twice a week and get good results. That might be better suited to someone who's super busy at work and stressed out.
You've just got to be honest with yourself as well about your goals. If you're looking at, say, a professional bodybuilder, and you're saying, right, I want to look like that, you've got to think, are you actually going to put in what's required to get there, or are you not? Are you going to better off having a more realistic goal that's going to push you a little bit, but it's achievable? Because you've got to think about the more you put in, the more you're going to get out, but the more you put in, the more it's going to affect your life. So it's not for everyone.
Yeah, it's for a very small minority of people, isn't
Definitely.
it? It's only suited to a very small minority. Most people, I think general population, just want to be fitter, healthier, they want to look leaner.
Yeah.
Move better, have less pain.
Yeah.
It's these things, maybe.
If you can, that's really easy achievable, isn't it? As long as you've got a decent plan in place and you eat fairly well most of the time, that's the goal that anyone can achieve, I think.
Yeah. one of the first things I've mentioned there as well is accountability, isn't it? Having that accountability for your own actions, and that's one of the things I think. Just over the years, chatting to different people that have been successful, other people that have struggled, I think you tend to find those that struggle have quite a lot of excuses and kind of they put the emphasis on, you know, external factors as a reason why they've not achieved or they've not moved forwards. It's kind of what, you know, my nutrition's not been very good, but it's like, oh, it's this person's fault, my partner's fault, or I don't know, I've been travelling or whatever, or I've been busy at work, kind of thing. And it's just trying to manage that, I think.
Yeah, definitely. It's a hard one though.
Yeah.
Because if someone's stuck in that trap, there's something they need to get out of it anyway. It's going to affect all areas of life. Like if they can't take responsibility for, even if something happens to you and it's not really your fault, say there is more blame on someone else. If you take responsibility for it, you can control the outcome there.
Yeah.
So there's no real positive to blaming someone else for anything.
Yeah.
Because at the end of it, it's a negative way of looking at things. If you can look at it like, right, they did that, but maybe I could have done this a little bit differently. I'll take responsibility for that and I'll move on. You'll feel better for it in the long run, you'll grow as a person. And it all relates to training. Training can definitely help it as well. It can help you become more like that.
Definitely agree with you in terms of the progress. If you're tracking your progress and you're seeing you're getting stronger, you start to see results, you feel a lot more empowered and in control.
Yeah.
And that can spill over into other areas of life. Definitely, you know, in terms of people's professions, you know, they start to feel like they're actually in control of the performance and progress.
Yeah, the thing about the gym is, it's you. It's not a team sport. If you're not making progress, it's because you're not doing something right, or you're not doing something as well as you should be doing. You might say, well, I don't have the knowledge to do it. Well, that's still on you to get that knowledge, whether it's hiring a coach or looking up yourself what to do. That's still your responsibility. So it all comes down to what you get out of it. It's always going to come down to what you put in. Yeah, which is quite nice.
Definitely. Another point as well, I think as well, that has an impact on people's goals is valuing other people's opinions too highly. So an example of that, you know, if you've got someone that works in an office, everyone in the office might eat junk food, they don't train, they just sit down, quite sedentary. If you're in that environment and then you start going to the gym, start eating healthily, you know, start bringing your own food in, you know, you stop saying, oh, I'm not going to go out for fast food with you guys this lunch. Sometimes there can be that negative kind of judgment on your part. So I think if you value their opinions too highly, then that's going to negatively impact your progress. Personally,
definitely, yeah.
It's something that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
It's a big part of it. It is interesting. It's kind of like, I think in British culture generally, it's the norm, isn't it, to kind of, you know, if you're in an office environment, it's the norm, isn't it, to have a cig break, just drink at the weekend, eat fast food during the day, whatever. That's kind of seen more normal than someone bringing some chicken and veg in. That's kind of heavily frowned upon.
Yeah.
It is interesting, I think, that. And I think if people can stop valuing other people's opinions as much and just focus on their progress and how they feel internally, then that's something that will make a big impact.
I think though as well, you've got to go into it with your eyes open a little bit. So if you're in that environment and you start bringing your own food in, you are going to get a little bit of ribbing for it, don't you? Yeah. People are going to make comments, and it depends how you handle it. If you handle it really serious, like, oh, I'm doing this now, this is for me, and you're real defensive about it, it's just going to keep going on and on. If you can just make a joke of it with them and say, well, yeah, this is, you know, light-hearted, but you still stick to what you're doing, then eventually give it a few days, it's just like, oh, it brings his own food in now, it's not a big thing.
That's it.
If you're defensive about it, you're going to get it every day.
It's the initial thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely.
At the end of the day, like you say, valuing other people's opinion. It's your body, do what you feel best doing.
One of the great things since I started working in the gym as well is you're in a more positive environment generally. More people generally, they're in there, aren't they, to progress and improve their health and fitness.
Yeah.
And you're surrounding yourself with those people. So I found just being around, there's some of the people you're around and spend the most time around. So if you're in that environment around people that are trying to get better and improve, that rubs off on you as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
So
definitely.
That's something as well to maybe have a look at, just the environment, the people you spend time around. you know, even family members as well. Sometimes they're not always going to be supportive and positive. You know, if they're not used to what you're doing.
You've got to accept it and just make sure in your head it's something that you're going to stick with. You find it worthwhile to stick with. And if you just take the negative comments, don't get too defensive. That's what I'd say. Because then it's just a bad road to go down.
Yeah. So it's all balance as well, isn't it? It's not to say just cut out junk food and cut out drinking and
exactly.
everything else. You know, it's all about having that balance. Just as long as you're improving yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't have to eat like a monk. You know what I mean? You can, if it fits your macros, works well for a lot of people. And to be fair, the more out of shape you are, the less strict you've got a diet. If you're at a low body fat and you've already got abs out and looking to do a bodybuilding show, that's when you've got to start taking it really serious. Up to that point, it's just calories in, calories out, keep protein high. It's not too difficult really.
Definitely. Yeah, I think we've covered most of the points actually. So one of the things there as well is, I think what I find as well with people that come in and they're successful, you look at their background and they're usually used to challenging themselves in different. You know, I've got a couple of examples of clients I've trained, and when you look at their background, they've had different careers where they've jumped in the deep end and they've made change and progressed and excelled in different environments.
Yeah.
You tend to find these people have got a better chance of succeeding, whereas if you've got someone who's maybe not challenged themselves, not taken themselves out of the comfort zone, just generally in life, you know, with experiences, I think they find it a lot harder to progress.
Definitely.
I don't know what you think.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of it comes down to how your personality's been formed over the years. So if you can tell, like if I'm training someone, you can tell pretty much, I'm sure you can yourself, after 20 minutes whether they're going to hit the goals easily or they're going to really struggle, because some people are, it's not really their like competitive sports and that kind of thing. If you've got that background, you'll come in and you're used to pushing yourself physically. If you're not used to pushing yourself physically, it's harder to get to the point where it becomes normal and enjoyable. If you're already used to pushing yourself and you go into the gym, you already find it quite enjoyable to do it. One of the big things is in the gym, you've got to find something you enjoy doing. People talk about, if you want to lose body fat, this is the best route, this is the best route. No, I don't ever have clients do a lot of like work on cardio equipment, because I just find it, most of them find it boring, and I find it's just a boring way of doing it. But if you prefer to come in and do an hour on a treadmill than lifting weights, and you want to lose weight, that's going to help you build that calorie deficit. So just do that. Do what you enjoy. If you don't enjoy doing weights and people just say, oh, I've got to do weights because it's the best way of doing it, you might do it for a few weeks, then you won't go again. Whereas just pick something you enjoy and do it that way. Now, if you've got a really big goal and it's, I want to be like a national champion at, say, weightlifting, powerlifting, or you want to get into strongman, you've got to have some sort of personality that already you want to go in and train hard. Do you know what I mean? You've got it in you already. You can develop it to an extent, but I don't think you can bring it totally out of someone who doesn't have it. That's just from what I've seen.
Yeah.
So if you haven't got the mentality to start with, it's very hard to get there. And a lot of people don't, and it's not a bad thing, it's just how your personality is. Like if you're not used to coming in and pushing, or you'll do a bit and I'm tired, and you don't really want to push any harder and it's not really enjoyable, it's probably not for you at the higher end. You've got to enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a big part, isn't it? I think it's a mixture of nature and nurture, and it's does that person, do they seek a challenge or do they seek comfortable situations? You know, what does that person seek? I think those that seek challenges are more likely to succeed.
I think it definitely has something to do with that, but also I think it's a tough one, because I'm sure there's people who they come to the gym and they can't push themselves, but then perhaps they're at something more psychological. Say they play chess, like you get the best chess players in the world, and they're challenging themselves mentally all the time, they're enjoying it, put them in the gym, and then some of them might not want to train hard.
Yeah.
So it's just two different ways. I don't think one way is particularly better than the other. I think it's healthy to push yourself physically to an extent, but a lot of it's down to your personality. I think it was Louis Simmons who said if a putt bites you, bite you as a dog. So it's the same kind of thing. It's you kind of in you a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's interesting. What do you think of the theory of people being lazy? Do you think it exists, or do you think it's just that they don't have a compelling goal, something important? Because that person that you're saying is lazy, that person could be one of the most motivated people and hardworking people ever if they had something that was really important to them. Or do you think that's kind of inbuilt in them that they're lazy?
I think it's a hard one, because you don't want to write someone off as lazy, because like if I'm a coach or someone comes to me and I can't write them off as lazy. I don't know what they've done previously. I don't know what's happening in their life. If they've got a really stressful, hard life and they've got no energy to train, that isn't laziness. That's because of other factors that are involved, and I might not know them. So as a coach, you can't write people off like that. In general life, I think some people are lazier than others, but a lot of it is, like, I've had people who have come to me for training and they've kind of said, I don't really get on with the gym, I don't like pushing myself really, and I said, alright, well, we go through sessions, and what it turns out is they didn't like pushing themselves because they maybe trained on their own and thought they looked daft and didn't want to look silly, or they didn't really know what to do, so they didn't have a challenge. So if you've got no challenge involved and you're doing random things, you can't really, like say before, you can't progress on it. Whereas if you're doing little circuits and you're trying to beat a certain time and you'll beat it, it's fun, you know, like wow, I've achieved something. Whereas if you don't have that, it's very hard to stay motivated. And the more you beat things and the more you've got in your mind, right, I've done that in 5 minutes last time, I've got to beat 5 minutes, it improves your motivation, and you certainly won't be lazy doing it.
Yeah.
Because you look forward to doing it.
Yeah, definitely. Massively. Yeah, so I've not covered most of the things there. Underestimating what it will take, I think we've covered that. Embracing the process, isn't it? Just coming back to that, the actual process of what it takes. Like, there's going to be tough sessions, it's going to be difficult, that's all part of the process. It's not going to be a continuous upwards curve in progress. Being patient, isn't it? I think a lot of people give up too early. Well, yeah, it's like at this time of year now, late January, some people, I think you just get that sense people tail off a little bit. They don't, the enthusiasm, you get that feel around the gym, the enthusiasm isn't quite there. It's still relatively busy, but it's maybe not quite there as much. You don't see that intensity as much, and it's just looking at that the kind of lack of patience. I think that's a big factor.
Definitely, it's a massive one. I think you get two tail off points. I think, like you've just stated, people in January, the influx that come in, then people tail off. And you also get a tail off after when you've got kind of your beginner gains out of the way. Say you're doing more performance based stuff like weightlifting or powerlifting, and you've trained for 2 years and you've gone your strength's shot up, and then you get to a plateau, and no matter what you do, it seems like you're going to gain 2.5 kilo on a lift after 12 weeks. And it gets hard, and that's a point again where people are kind of, I'll leave it there, you know, it's getting too hard now. But all that is, it's just a weighing up whether you want to put enough in to get that little bit out, or whether you don't want to do it. So it just comes down to how much you want to achieve whatever goal you've got.
Definitely. Anything else you wanted to add then, Neil? So that any other reasons why you think people struggle or fail to achieve the goals and drop out, in your experience?
I think that covers pretty much everything.
Yeah.
I think one massive one is getting to the gym itself in the first place. A lot of people are scared of going to the gym. They're just not confident. And there's ways around it. Just if you have a couple of coaching sessions or PT sessions, you know, and get used to it. Because some people, find a friend who goes, and you know, just go with them to start with. Just so a lot of it is how everyone's going to be looking at me. When I can tell you, at the gym I coach out at Peak Physique, it's not like that. People are there, they go and train, and they're not watching everyone else really. Everyone seems alright in there. And people understand it. When they start training there, like, it's not quite like I thought it'd be. Yeah. So that's a...
Comes back to that, valuing other people's opinions again this time. People in the gym, other people, what are they thinking? Yeah. It's a big part of it. That's one of the biggest hurdles, I think, for me, that, you know, trying to value your own opinion and your own priorities over other people's opinions and not really worry too much about what other people think.
I think everyone does that to an extent.
It is, I think, in everyone, even, you know, the really confident people, there's just a little element of that still.
Definitely, I think it's natural. I think everyone does. Especially
in new situations, if you've got someone new to a situation, new to come into the gym, completely alien to it.
Yeah.
It puts a lot of people off, I think, joining.
Definitely.
So I think there's a massive market. I think, you know, so many people want to get healthier and want to feel better and want to get a bit leaner. But a lot of people don't bother joining because of that fear of judgment.
Yeah, and there's so much bullshit about it. Do you know, like you go online and you try and read something, and like I've had people who I've talked to about the diet and say, well, I don't eat fruit because that's bad. So how?
Yeah.
And they can't really. Oh, it's the sugars in it. And when you break it down to them and tell you actually how everything works, and then kind of, oh right, I didn't know that, I thought this and that, and there's so many things like that, so many myths about, and it's like it's a minefield. If you want to do it on your own now, it's a minefield. If you've got none previous knowledge, previous background, it's hard.
Yeah,
definitely.
This is it, isn't it? So, yeah, this is what this is all part of, really. I think because you've been in this industry for a while, you've been lifting for a long time, you've worked with a lot of clients. It's good to get your view across, Neil, on this. You know, these different things. So it's good. Yeah, definitely. It'd be good to do some more of these in the future, for definite. I think there's a lot of information, like you say, a lot of myths, a lot of things that people aren't really sure about. I think it's good to put the content out there, just to have a discussion, isn't it? I think when we chat about it, it's all been involved in it for quite a while now. So both of us. So I think when we're reinforcing what we're saying, I think it just puts it across a bit clearer.
Some things we take for granted as well that I've realised that people might get stuck on. Do you know, like because you don't really think of it as an issue because you've been doing it so long. And to some people, they just didn't understand that little thing that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So some of the basics is really important to get. Yeah, but if anyone has any questions for me and looks me up on Instagram, I'm happy to help anyone. Do you know, with advice. If anyone anyone emails me anything, I'll give them advice. So.
Yeah, definitely. If anyone's got any questions, if anyone wants to ask anything specific, health, fitness related, training related, feel free to put a question across. I think next time we do it, maybe it'd be good to do one every month or two.
Yeah,
just
definitely.
Kind of just touch base and have a chat about things just generally as well.
Yeah.
I think we've got quite a bit of value to offer people. So yeah, if anyone's got any questions, just feel free to ask. Do our best to answer.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice one, Neil.
Nice
Good
one.
to see you. Cheers.